Hi, you guys. Welcome to Refocus Your Life, Step 5. We've been here every night this whole week talking about the simple things that we can do to really make life a little bit easier. I think we all struggle with wanting to do life better and kind of struggling with knowing where to start and how to make it all happen. And so that's really what my purpose has been here this week, is to help you guys see that just a few simple small changes, and to give you guys a few simple small changes that you can make that will help you feel a little bit less overwhelmed, a little bit less stressed every day, and a little bit more content at the end of the day, because nobody likes looking back on their day and feeling like they didn't do it well. And so that's kind of what the purpose has been. So there is steps 1 through 4. So if you have missed those, make sure you go back and watch those. Make sure you have completed your workbook. If you send me a copy of your completed workbook with everything filled out, I'm going to enter you in. Let's say, so it's Friday the 20th. So if you send me a copy of your workbook by the end of the weekend, so by the end of Sunday night, the 22nd, get your workbook to me by then. Just take pictures of it and email it to Jennifer Roskamp at theintentionalmom.com. Send me those pictures and I will enter you guys into a drawing for my new digital book that is out. But go back and work through steps 1 through 4 if you need to. Again, if you missed any of those, make sure you filled out your workbook. The workbook is just a way for you to take the things that I've taught you here and make it more actionable for your own life. Because it's one thing to listen to people talk or to read something and think, well, that's really great, but now what do I do? So the workbook is kind of answering the question of, now what do I do? So make sure that you've worked through that. If you don't have a copy of the workbook, you can still get that by texting Refocus Live to 44222, and you can get a workbook there. If that doesn't work for you for some reason, you can also get a workbook by going to theintentionalmom.com/refocus-your-life, and you can get a workbook that way too, because I don't want anybody to not have a workbook. So, okay, so what we're going to talk about today is goals, and I'm not going to talk about setting goals, because that is a really important part. But it's the part that comes after that that I think we so often miss. So let me just give you a definition of how to set a good goal really quick, and then we're going to move on. So what makes for a good goal is that it has to be something that is a specific something. And it has to be measurable, meaning you can't just say, like, I want to lose weight. Like, that's not measurable, right? So it has to be measurable. It has to have a clear stopping and start time. You can't just say, I want to lose 10 pounds, right? Because while you've been specific and made it measurable, you've not talked about when you planned on doing that by. So having a clear start and a clear ending is also an important part of setting a good goal. So I do think setting a good goal is part of the process, but an important part of the process, but I think an even bigger part is what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, which is, so often we're conditioned to kind of set goals, right? We know we should be setting goals. We know it's a good thing. We know how to set New Year's resolutions, for instance. I mean, New Year's resolutions are really nothing more than a goal. So we do know that we need to do this, and many of us are motivated to do this at different times, but where we often fall short is that we don't take the next step. And so the next step is to figure out how to take those goals and break them down into actionable steps. So I'm going to talk you through the process of doing that pretty easily today, so that you know how to do that. So when you set a goal, after you set the goal, I want you to answer this question, and this is what I want you to do as a result of this. I want you to go ahead and I want you to, and in your workbook, I give you a space to do this. The first thing I want you to do there is write down a goal. Write down something that you want to accomplish and make sure that it is measurable, that it's got a start and a stop, and that it's very clearly defined. And then after that, this is where we're gonna pick up here where most of us leave off. And so once you set that goal, then I want you to ask this question: what are 2 things that I can do that will bring that goal closer within my reach? What are 2 things I can do? What are 2 steps I can take that are going to bring that goal closer to me? So let me stick with the weight loss goal as an example, okay? So let's say my goal is I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of August. So that's my goal. And now I'm going to say to myself, well, what are 2 things I can do to make that happen? And there's a lot of 2 things you could choose, right? So I'm just asking you, my goal here is to have you not feel overwhelmed and to give you simple ways to make this happen. You're not going to probably lose, I'm not saying that you're going to lose 10 pounds in a month and a half by doing only 2 things. But what I am saying is that this is an exercise in how to deal with goals. So for our purposes here, I'm using this goal as an example. But anytime you set a goal, once you've made sure it's a good goal, like we've talked about briefly, then you need to ask the question, what are 2 things I can do that are going to bring that goal, to be completed in my life? And you're going to break those down and choose 2. And once you complete those 2, then you're going to say, okay, what are some other things? What are 2 more things I can do? If you haven't accomplished the goal yet, what are 2 more things I can do once I've completed those, or once I have those in place and I'm ready to step up the game, because I know I really need to add some more things in there to make this happen. But you're starting with 2. Again, I'm trying to give you guys something simple, a great place to start. This is often a new concept for a lot of people. They're used to just setting goals, throwing them out there in the sky, and they might be great goals, and they might even be measurable and have a start and an end time and all of that stuff. But you haven't ever gone further than that. So I want you just to learn this skill. So that's why I'm saying simple. So in my weight loss scenario, I could say, what are 2 things that are going to make this happen? And I could say, okay, I'm going to stop eating after 7 p.m. every night, right? Because we know that if you eat too late at night, your metabolism often isn't going, high enough. You're not going to burn off whatever you're eating. So that is often an effective way to lose weight. So you say, okay, I'm going to stop eating after 7 p.m. every night, and I'm going to make sure that I'm drinking 60 ounces of water a day, because we know that the more water we drink, the more likely we are to be healthy as well. And a lot of times when we feel hungry, we're actually just thirsty, interestingly enough. So those could be the 2 action steps that I'm going to take in that scenario. So I hope you have seen how easy this is to really kind of set your goal, make it a good goal, and then choose 2 things that are going to likely make that happen. So in my scenario, let's say I've taken 2 weeks and I'm not eating after 7 p.m. and I'm drinking 60 ounces of water every day. So now I can say, okay, what are 2 more things that I could do to make this weight loss goal happen? So then I might say something like, I'm going to exercise for 20 minutes, 5 days a week, and I'm going to give up drinking pop. I'm not really a pop drinker, but I'm just using that as an example. So that's what I mean when I'm saying to add more things in there. I haven't completed the not eating after 7 p.m., right? That's just going to keep going. And I haven't completed drinking water. That's going to keep going. But now, since I've developed a habit with those things, I'm ready to move on to something different and say, okay, I can take on more now. So it could be that you're going to add more things once you've completed those steps in getting towards your goal. Or it could be like my example where you're going to add more things in because you can add more things in to make yourself more likely to accomplish your goal. So it's really that simple when it comes to setting goals. And that's not to say that goals are easy to achieve. I don't want to minimize it in that way. But it really is that simple in learning a new way of dealing with goals, because so many of us set goals and, like I said, they just drop after that. And we wonder why we're not accomplishing them. Well, if you're not, really what I'm talking you through right now is taking your goals from a passive activity and turning it into an active activity. Setting a goal out there is really just passive. Once you've done it, it's done. But in order to make that goal happen, you have to turn it into an active thing. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do. I'm encouraging you to build that bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. And an easy way to do that is just to start small and pick 2 simple things that you can do to help make that goal happen. And then you go from there. And what you'll find is when you start simple with just 2 small steps, it's once you develop that habit of whatever those are for, a week, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, once you get used to kind of setting these steps and starting to walk on the path of wherever it is you're trying to go, you'll find that it really gets easier. And this is kind of a learned skill. So then you'll get better, just like you get better at setting goals. If you're not one to typically set goals that often, you'll find that setting goals and setting good goals and measurable, attainable, actionable goals, that gets easier too. You get better at setting your goals. And so then you'll also get better at breaking down those goals as you go. And it's really encouraging, and you kind of build momentum. And so I really want to encourage you to pick something that maybe you've set as a goal in the past but haven't been able to do. And this would especially be a good idea if you've never really broken them down. If this is kind of a totally new concept to you, it might be really exciting for you to take that one thing or one of those things that you've always wanted to do, but you've just never done it. And so you felt like a failure because you couldn't do this one thing, So I want to encourage you to maybe pick a goal like that and challenge yourself in that way, because that can really kind of light the fire and really get you excited about doing some stuff and making positive changes that you've kind of always wanted to make. So that brings us to the end of this 5-day teaching on how to really take your life and take back control, because all of us are guilty at times, and especially now as I teach this, it's summer, it's, things are more laid back, and we're all kind of guilty of just kind of letting life happen to us. And then all of a sudden we realize, oh my gosh, I've kind of been passively watching my life pass me by, and I don't necessarily like all of these things that are going on. I don't like feeling overwhelmed. I don't like feeling stressed out. I don't like struggling with making a daily schedule. I feel like I'm getting nothing done. I feel like I'm not taking good care of myself. We spent a couple days talking about self-care. And so this is your opportunity to really take what I've taught you here and let this be the beginning, only the beginning of how you can really start to feel like you are more in control of your life, rather than your life feeling like it's in control of you, because nobody likes that feeling. So what I did with these 5 days is I actually took them from a 21-day challenge that I created a couple of years ago. And believe it or not, there have actually been more than 250,000 people who have gone through this challenge. And it was initially set up as a 21-day challenge, because if they say it takes 21 days to form a habit, and certainly there are things that are going to take longer, and it's not some magic formula you get to 21 days, but that was how that resource came to be and that challenge came to be set at 21 days, because it is a pretty decent amount of time. It gives you kind of not too far off in the future to try to learn something new, but yet it's long enough that it becomes a skill as opposed to just something new I'm trying for a few days. So this came as something that was adapted from that. And so that this weekend, it's a resource that's been around for a while, but I'm going to discount it. It's discounted from now through Tuesday. It's only $9. It's a digital book. And then you also have the option of upgrading for $5 this weekend to get the worksheets that go along with it. And in my opinion, the worksheets are almost what makes it all worth it, even all the more, because the worksheets, kind of like this workbook, the worksheets allow you to take something that you read and really think through, how am I going to make this work in my life? And so from now through Tuesday, I have that discounted down to just $9 for you guys who have been here, because I want you to take the momentum that you've had from these 5 days and add the other 16 days. And just like these things were kind of focused on 3 different areas, this challenge is called, the 21-day challenge is called Refocus, Recharge, Take Charge. And so those are the 3 different categories that everything came from. So like refocus, that's what we did on step 1 here. We started with putting the past behind us and really letting go of all of that and refocusing on where we want to go, because we all can get stuck in the past and let our past failures keep us from moving forward. And so that was an important part of that. And there is more steps that are part of that refocus, but that's part of what that refocus is. It's just kind of, okay, let's get our head in the game so that we can start to move forward. So that's what the refocus part is. And then the recharge is part of that self-care. Self-care is part of that, where it's important to feel okay with putting into ourselves and feeling okay with really taking some time for ourselves to get ourselves where we need to be. Again, knowing that us doing that allows us to then go forward and help others and take care of the people in our life that we're required to take care of. And even if that's just a job, you know, even if you don't have any people specifically to take care of, if you have a job, you have people who are counting on you to do whatever it is you do. And so that's going to help you fill your tanks and get yourself ready to be able to do that stuff even better. And then the last section of the 21-day challenge is the take charge part. And that's where we talk about scheduling. Yesterday I talked about, that was a really good one yesterday. Make sure that you guys really listen to step 4, because that's where I took the importance of really knowing yourself and knowing how you work and how your mind works and how you work best, and really learning that about yourself and then using that to your advantage to make sure that the things you have to do as you go about your life every day are within what makes sense to you, instead of what makes sense maybe for other people, but not for you. Kind of like if you end up feeling like you're kind of like you do things certain ways, the way that you think other people want you to have it done, or the way other people even do want you to have it done, and you can end up feeling like you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And it could be because, like we talked about yesterday, you're not paying attention to when you work best. You're not paying attention to the fact that, well, I'm saving all of these difficult tasks for at night, and I'm wondering why I'm never getting these things done. Well, I'm never getting these things done, I realize now, because I'm not really a night person. I've kind of blown through all my energy and all my brain power as the day's gone by, and I've got nothing left at night. So if I really want to be able to get these things done, I'm going to have to not do them at night, because I do these things better in the morning. So that kind of stuff. And I think what was a real big eye-opener from yesterday too is how you like to complete tasks. If you are not somebody who likes or who can work through tasks from start to finish without stopping, well, if you are not the kind of person who gets motivated by that, or who likes working through things from start to finish and then saying, yay, I'm done. If you are somebody who likes to take things in smaller bites and say, it might take me, I might need an hour span to get this half-hour task done, because I need to just take a few minutes here and a few minutes there to kind of step away from it and then come back, that can be really eye-opening, because I think in general, society tries to make us get things done from start to finish and tries to make everybody just do that, but not everybody's wired that way. And so we talk about a lot of that kind of stuff in the take charge portion of the 21 days, because not everybody is the same. And so knowing a lot of different ways to kind of get through life is helpful. And so that's why a good 7 days is spent on that take charge portion. So you can get this digital bundle. Well, you can do just the digital book if you want and add the worksheets on if you want. You can go to theintentionalmom.com/refocus, and you can find it there. And I'll also link it here at the top of this video. So now through Tuesday, it'll be at a discounted price for you, or for the next 5 days. Let's just say that. For the next 5 days, it's going to be at a discounted price for you. And after that, it'll become regular price. But I really want you guys to take what you've done here, because I've gotten emails from a lot of people in how helpful just these simple things have been, that really you've kind of always maybe known were there, but you never had anybody give you permission. I had a lot of people say, you gave me permission to kind of pay more attention to myself and kind of what I knew about myself all along, but I felt guilty about trying to give in to myself. And so maybe it's the first time you've really had someone give you permission to say, you know what, you don't have to get that whole task all done from start to finish. That's not the way you work, and that kind of thing. And so, so I really want you guys to take what you've learned here and expand on that, because you'll find that again, our overall goal, and my overall goal in so much of what I do, is to try to help people have more time for doing what they want to do every day. Because my life is filled with so many different things that I have to do too. And so my life has become trying to get that have to stuff done better and more efficiently, and therefore more quickly, so I have more time to hang out at the beach or whatever it is that I want to do. So so that's really what the focus of this resource is. So you can go to theintentionalmom.com/refocus, and for the next 5 days, you'll get that at a discounted rate. Okay, so you guys, don't forget about sending me a copy of your workbook. You've got 3 days to send me a copy of your completed workbook. You can email me pictures of that. You can email that to jenniferroskamp@theintentionalmom.com, and I'll also put that in the comments of this video also, so that you can see where to email those, not mail them, email them. So, all right, you guys, I hope that you are feeling a little bit energized and ready just to go out there and make some simple changes and really see what a big difference these things can make in your life. Because I know that they will, because I've like I said, there's been more than 250,000 people who've gone through this full 21-day thing. And it has so transformed what they do every day. And so I'm excited for you to experience that as well. So, all right, you guys, thanks for joining in. Get those workbooks done, and I will see you guys all later.